following is a presentation of the Pineywoods Sports Network.
Boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom.
We can move it underground, bro. We can toss it all around, Joe.
Convert another first down and goal.
We're gonna take it all the way.
Chick, boom, chick, boom, chick.
We can start turning up the sound, yo. Another Tuesday round, slow. Are you ready for the Nick Brown Show?
Ready for the Nick Brown Show.
I'm ready for the Nick Brown Show.
Can you dig it?
Boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick. Welcome everybody to the pizzeria here on this Tuesday night. It's the Nick Brown Show. That's Nick Brown. I'm Chris Watlington. Over there's the counselor, Stephen Shires, and we have enjoyed 3 weeks of Rough Rider football and Rough Rider sports. In fact, there's Rough Rider sports going on right now.
Commercial break.
So that probably means we won that point. Probably.
Yep, we did.
Okay.
We got to win. We're 25-24. We got to win by. Got one more.
Got to win by two.
Yep.
Okay. Well, our partner Larry Pierce is in Timpson, where Center and Timpson are currently playing, and the first set is now, they're going into kind of overtime. You have to win. First, by win to 24, win by 2. It's 25-24, and so it's pretty exciting. We're watching it over the shoulder of technology as we're here at Pizzeria.
That's right.
Got lots to talk about as far as the week behind, the week ahead. It's homecoming week here in Center, which is a big deal. In Center, Nick, it's a bigger deal, really. Homecoming is truly for the alumni, and that's not true. I wouldn't even say most places, but in Center, it's a big deal. You want to get that date out. People are going to come and get in hotels.
Yeah, and to me, that's the big fun thing that makes homecoming so fun.
Yeah.
It's places I've been, it's more for the girls to get the mums and see how giant they can get. I mean, I was showing people pictures of mums in Aubrey where this girl had one that filled up her whole back seat. And just had lights on them and Christmas lights and teddy bears. And, I mean, they're just gigantic.
Do you remember that from your school days?
No.
That's happened recently, right?
That's more of a recent thing. And so it's kind of a nice change of pace when you get here. And it is actually about – because it's called homecoming. It's for people to come home and experience kind of what's changed or what's the same or, whatever.
And
so
that
it should be fun.
In Center, that does happen.
Yep. I'm excited about the bonfire.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I saw those guys setting up all the pallets and stuff. I'm pretty jacked up about that bonfire.
Good. That's tomorrow night. Y'all come out 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And that it was the original community pep rally. It's at night so that everybody can come. Very few people are still at work, so we'd love to see you out there in its traditional place by the stadium, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On the north side of the stadium.
Sweet deal. Okay.
Yep. North. Yep.
Just a quick mention. Last week we went to.
Well, hold on before we do that, Wellington. You always forget this.
No. I'm at B. You have jumped to C, but that's okay.
Right.
We can flip it. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's do this because that's what the
pizza. He's fired up.
Because this is what the people are seeing on our topics board.
Give the people what
our topic board.
Give the people what they want.
What they want.
Okay. So we went back to basics. I mean, we've done all kinds of fancied up because we took the meat lovers pizza, and we put jalapenos on it. We did it with thick crust. We did it with stuffed crust. Did all that. We felt like we need to go back to the basics.
The original, yes,
the original. And so we have the regular meat lovers pizza here, just like you like it. It's just just straightforward.
I like
smash mouth.
Yes, sir.
And then
smash mouth.
And then in
meat
addition,
and bread.
That's right. And then in addition, we have our pizza of our night is we just talked about this because they have did up here where we can see that right in front of you, Coach. The cheesecake. And so if you're a cheesecake fan, you can get it right here in Center.
I can tell you right now, one of those will be gone.
Yeah. Well, I imagine at least two will be.
And if you're health conscious, you can come have a salad at Pizzeria.
That's right.
And chase it with a cheesecake.
That's right.
It cancels out.
Yeah, that's right.
It does. All right. So now, Chris Wallington, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Well, I got to remember that's what it is on the screen. We got to sync up our old school and new school tech.
Right. You always listen to the guy with the tie on. That's right. He's always right.
That's right.
Yeah, he's always right.
Well, last week in Louisiana, a very, very good North Desoto team, and you were telling me earlier, it's hard to prepare for a team that's geared like that.
They are. I mean, they're obviously – Coach Dunn has been in Louisiana doing that for a long, long time. He was at Evangel before, now at North Desoto, and he's always done a great job. And there's certain things you can prepare for. You can prepare, hey, they got a good running back, they've got a good receiver, they've got a good quarterback, which they did. They're big up front, they move very well. They're very athletic offensive line. All those things you can see on film. What you can't see on film, and this is why I'm kind of old school. Like when we get to the playoffs, I still go watch the teams play,
right? Yeah.
Because there's some things you can't tell from film because they cut the clips. But their tempo. That's one thing you can't prepare for, no matter how much you do in practice. And last week we had 2 huddles on scout offense, running at our defense rapid fire as fast as we could, and it's still we couldn't move as fast as they were moving. And so that was one of those things. And we settled in a little bit with it. That first quarter, I think it was a little shell shock. And then once we settled in, but again, by that time when you play a good team, if you take a whole quarter to settle in, you end up down 21-0,
right.
And that was kind of where we found ourselves, and shot ourselves in the foot several times. We're driving, and then get a 10-yard penalty or a false start, and so it's just and all of that stuff that all lands back on me. Anytime we have 15 penalties, that's a coaching deal, and so Coach, I got to take that.
I'm going to take the blame for that. I should have told you. The one thing that we can count we noticed before, in addition to the difference in rules. The officials over there called. I mean, they had their hands on the flags much more than what we expect in Texas, and that seems to be a standard thing.
Well,
over
and
there.
there are different points of emphasis, and so I'm never going to blame a game on refs because to me, if you let the refs get involved, that means you're not playing good enough to overcome it. And I always had an old coach say, like, when you win, you got great players, and when you lose, you got terrible coaches. And so it's
right.
And so I'm fully prepared. But it was some things like, and again, not making excuses. I do not want to take anything away from North Desoto.
Oh no,
They're
no,
an incredible football team.
Right.
But I mean, there was a personal foul penalty called on one of our guys, and our safety came up, made a great hit on the tight end on a little short screen pass, and where everybody's jumped up, and the guys around the pile did exactly what we told them to do, because we were told that the personal foul, taunting stuff, it's a big point of emphasis there. So we weren't even going to mess with it, right? Our guy jumps up, gets over the top, starts walking towards our sideline, clapping, didn't look down at the guy anything. And I guess about 8 yards away from the play, another kid was down clapping and celebrating, and that was the kid that got
I remember that play.
And so
we wondered about that.
I guess because I asked for an explanation, and I got one. They said, well, because he was looking at the player, that's taunting. I said, even if it's – I mean, you look on the frame, the kid is – 12 yards away from the play, and they said yes. Well, you know what? Now we know for the next time. So we've already got him on the schedule for next year.
Good.
It's, we already re-upped. Yeah, we re-upped that for realignment.
Right.
So it's week 3. For the next 2 years, we'll be home and home again. And so because that's a good game for us. It's a good game for them. So we want to keep that going.
But it's really on everything. I mean, because like we all know that the difference between a great block, kind of like last night in the Texan game. A great block versus a tripping is in the eye of the beholder, right? And so, I mean, it was just everything. They just, I found that they have a different philosophy. It wasn't, I mean, they called it tight on both ways. Did. But and the other thing that I thought that we noticed, I talked to one of my friends that watches religiously every week. They were able to rotate a second group in that was without losing hardly any, if any.
Yeah, and so they, again, that's another thing where the rules come in. So here. If you play on a Thursday night, you can suit up on Friday night, but you can't participate. In most other states, like Oklahoma's this way and Louisiana is, they measure it by quarters. And so, I believe it's the same in Louisiana, but let's say you play a half on a Thursday night. Well, then you can play the full game on a Friday, and they keep track of kids' participation that way. And so you had some kids that you may have, but they had 100 kids on the sidelines, and they were all ripping. And their kickoff team was a separate 11 from their offense, from their defense. Every unit had its own 11, and that's just, I mean, that with numbers wise, I mean that would be something we technically could do, but then at the sacrifice of our sub-varsity kids not getting any better. That's right. And so that's just one of those nuances of playing interstate games that you have to deal with.
I'd never heard that until you told me that before the game.
Well, I mean, especially their defensive front. I mean, they had several units come in, and I thought they were all pretty effective.
They were. Yeah, there wasn't any time where they put a group on the field where we were like, okay, we're going to run at this guy. The guy who comes in after the first guy is just as, I mean, it's very impressive. Like I said, they do a great job over there, and for us, it gives us a great pre-district matchup to get us right. And I think
the playoffs.
Yeah, and playoffs. And I mean, it's a playoff atmosphere. I mean, that atmosphere is amazing. I told Jesse, I said, man, that speaker system will blow you out of the arena. That thing was blowing and pumping, and my kids were like, fireworks, really?
Yes.
I mean, it was bananas.
Yeah,
and it was so cool. They had smoke machine. I was like, oh my gosh, but. I mean, that's something when you're a good program like that, and that's something that you have to get used to playing. I told our kids, like, just wait till playoffs.
That wasn't homecoming.
No,
that wasn't
just
a district.
that was a home opener.
Those are home opener.
Okay, the home opener.
Home
well,
opener,
okay.
yeah.
But I suspect that happened. That they're going to do it.
Next game too.
Well, the radio team over there, the way they were talking is there's an expectation that the North Desoto team can go all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they played for it last year.
Yeah.
They were state semifinals, so that's kind of their a perennial power in that state, and so that again, that's something we want to play. We want to do that more because I tell our kids all the time, like, you could play, not as good teams in non-district and pad your wins and losses, but then what do you learn about yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
I think I told you that after the game. Like, you learn a lot more about your team and your program and where you are. Unfortunately, when you lose, because when you win, like you after Spring Hill, we knew we had some things to correct, and we told the kids about it. But in their minds, Coach, we won 62-15. Like, we're all right. Well, then we go and show that last Friday, and it's like, see, we got, and so it's definitely, it kind of was Romans 8 says that God weaves everything for our good. So even the bad things and the good things, he'll weave it. Not to get preachy on everybody, but that's one of those times where I think that happens in football is where, hey, it was a bad thing. Losing sucks. I hate losing. I had a horrible Saturday. I mean, that was bad. But my Aggies won, so that was good. But coming in on Sunday, we met as coaching staff, and I had 6 of our players, kind of our leadership council, wanted to meet Sunday. Said, "Hey, Coach, we want to fix these things, and we want to do this. We want to have better practices, and we're going to start doing this." And so it's actually kind of woken everybody up to like, hey, you know what? We are a good football team, but if we don't play up to our potential, a good team will beat us. So it's going to end up being a good thing, but it still sucks taking that L.
Yeah.
Especially in an interstate game when you feel like you let not only your team down, but you let the whole state of Texas down, and the whole state of Texas.
But that's okay. The Aggies.
Yeah. The Aggies beat the Irish, which I know Mr. Wolf will be upset about it, and so I hope he's not watching. But
well, that's a pretty good overview of the game at large last week. We'll go to break. When we come back, we may talk some X's and O's right here on the Nick Brown Show. You stick with us.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the Pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center.
JBA Financial Services brings you Coach Talk, and there's a reason for that. John Black knows that when you're preparing for an important game, you need a plan, and they'd like to be a part of the details, the X's and O's of that plan. He's put together a good team, a coaching staff that would help you and your family get where they want to go. At JBA Financial Services, they're working to secure your family's future.
Sandy Cox State Farm Insurance in Center has the agents to take care of all your insurance needs. They remind you to update your policy after a life change, never put off the death policy conversation, and always have home insurance or renter's insurance. Whatever your insurance needs or questions are, or even if you need to make a payment, Sandy Cox State Farm Insurance in Center.
So what do you get with Sabine State Bank? Well, Steve Waters and his staff, they know you. They know you by name, and they celebrate the successes when they finance your dreams. But Sabine State Bank is also a fully modern bank with 24-hour online access to your accounts and services ranging from teller services to some of banking's more complicated things. Looking for a place to grow? It's Sabine State Bank.
Everybody, welcome back. It's the Nick Brown Show live here from the Pizzeria, brought to you by who we just saw, Steve Waters down at Sabine State Bank. When you need a new boat, a new RV, need to add on to your house, go see Steve Waters. Go have a cup of coffee with him in the morning, and you'll walk out of there with the financing you need.
Yeah, and
equal housing lender.
And the courage that you need to face the rest of the day with that coffee. And JBA Financial is, since I just don't know how long, has brought us Coach Talk. We're about to get into that now. We talk in generalities about the game. But now we'll talk about plays, X's and O's, strategies, and that sort of thing. And the things that we learned about from last week's matchup against the Griffins, a mythological beast, but a real live team.
Formidable opponents.
Yeah, I'm going to leave here and let these guys talk football.
Yeah.
Well, I'll begin with during the halftime, I had the Colonel in for the expert analysis, and he was lamenting that from the defensive side, we just weren't getting sufficient pressure on the quarterback to if we can do that and rattle him a little bit. That
he goes.
Yep.
Get first slice of pizza.
Oh
right
man,
there.
can you believe that?
No, jerk.
So,
but no, that's why he left, is eat pizza.
Yep.
No, so and that's the thing when you run a high pressure defense, and if you're not getting to your marks and hitting your spots, well then that's going to be an issue. And I think, and that was the thing too. From the average person in the stands, you look up and you see that it's not working or this or that, and the best coaches actually sit in the bleachers. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh, of course.
It's just yes.
It's the same way. When I was DA, folks would get on the Facebook and tell me how I need to do my job.
Yeah.
So,
Well, actually, sir, but you know
what?
When you watch the film and look at it, I mean, we were missing our targets. When we pressure, it's not just everybody blitz. I mean, everyone has a specific aiming point, like your nose guard. Hey, you're doing a hard stick going to the opposite B gap. So everyone has specific places they're supposed to hit, and we weren't getting to those spots, and a lot of that was due to their tempo.
Right.
And so we weren't getting lined up correctly. We weren't getting off the ball very well, and so we really left our secondary in a bind with that. And then again, once we settled in, we started getting some pressure created and settled into it. Got a pick out of it, you know. So there were some good things that came out of it, but early on there, it was again, if you're going to live and die by pressure, you know, sometimes it gets you.
Yeah, but that the first drive of theirs, we stopped them, and I'm like, hey, we're in business. You know, we're going to short field, and then we drive down, and everything's going well. We're fixing to put this in the end zone, and then we get the procedural penalty.
We got that, and then on that same drive, or was it the next drive, we throw the fade in the end zone, and J.K. did a great job off the line, beat his guy off the line. He's open. Easton throws a great ball, and it's just about much too far. So, again, little things like that in big games against good people, even those small misses, and then you're down 7-0. Well, then you got to give them the ball back. Well, then you're down 14-0, and then you're pressing, and then you're getting away from what you're really good at. And we had to do some things that we weren't quite used to doing yet to get back into the game. But again, I think once we settled in, it was something that there's a lot to grow on in that game. And again, we're still young. We're still got guys figuring things out, and I think that was a great opportunity for them to see how fast the game really can be when we get into district and start playing some really good opponents.
Yeah. Well, you say it every week, right? And it's always been on the other side where things aren't always as good as you think they are, and not as bad as you think they are.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of good because we did settle in on both sides of the football and did some good things.
Yeah. I mean, we still were very effective in the run game. I think we still had almost 300 yards rushing, and Bluford, you could tell they were keen on him. He still had some very good runs, very physical runs, and Jesus Villegas just keeps emerging as an incredible complement to what Bluford does, and he's going to end up. He's worked himself into. He's going to get more carries because every time he gets the ball, it's when we run to the right side and you've got Jesus who's about 5'6", 140 pounds behind Big Jack who's 6'5", 400 and something pounds. It's hard to find that running back behind that guy, and so that was something. I think he busted a 60-yard run the other night and ended with over 100 yards, and so there were, again, like you said, some very good things to build on, understanding kind of our identity and who we are, and what we need to make sure that we emphasize and focus on when we practice.
And it seemed like, you take that big run aside, I mean, it seemed like Villegas was more effective, and I don't know if that was because the defense was you could tell they were really keen on Bluford.
Yeah, when Jeremy was in, he was definitely getting a much heavier box.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because there's plenty of film of Jesus doing just as, you know what I mean? And so we have a very good 1-2 punch with those two guys. But you could definitely tell when you watch the film or when you were there live, you could see the box was very heavy. Linebackers and D-line very much so in the box when Bluford was in. And two, a lot of that just happens to be, they're just two very different running backs,
right.
And so they both can take it the distance. I mean, we've seen Blue take 199 yards, and we've seen Jace's take 160, 70 yards, and so that's a good thing to have. But again, it's we move the ball, and then we would get a penalty.
Yep.
Move the ball, turnover, or just something silly would happen. And so those are the things that you rep in practice, you work in practice, and a little bit more live drive this week of actually moving the ball around and kind of simulating that noise. We had the music blasting at practice this week to try to keep simulating that kind of distracted atmosphere. So it definitely taught us a lot that we needed to work on, but it also showed us, okay, this is who we are and this is what we got to build on and get better at.
Right.
Yep.
Well, all right. I mean, is there anything else? I mean, we talked about it. I mean, this was a good example for the team to see. We've got to bring the A game every week, especially in the district.
Yeah, so we showed flashes of how good we can be. We have to keep that consistency and build on that and do that for 4 quarters and not just here and there throughout the game. Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it. We're going to put the Griffins in the rearview mirror, and when we come back, we'll have the rider of the night. We'll do that, and then we start looking forward to the other sports, and then we'll look at our homecoming game coming up. This is the Nick Brown Show here live from the pizzeria, and brought to you by Sabine State Bank. We'll be right back.
Batters Law Firm is your first choice in personal injury law. Jeff Batters and his staff lead the way in the area with Best of Nacogdoches and Best of Lufkin votes over the last several years. If your case matters, it's got to be Batters.
The team at McAdams Propane is committed to fueling generations of East Texans, and the work Billy Bob and Lisa McAdams started is growing under Josh's leadership. What began in Center has grown into Livingston and Marshall, Henderson and Carthage. For propane, it's McAdams.
So what do you get with Sabine State Bank? Steve Waters and his staff, they know you by name, and they celebrate the successes when they finance your dreams. But Sabine State Bank is also a fully modern bank with 24-hour online access to your accounts and services ranging from teller services to some of banking's more complicated things. Looking for a place to grow? It's Sabine State Bank.
Hello, everybody. We just had... I said hello so loud, everybody in the place turned around and looked at me. Hi, guys. Sorry. We are excited to be here at the Pizzeria and because it's been such a great home. Thank you so much to Pizzeria for hosting us. And we also appreciate Camp Uwani, where a better youth arises and the fun never sets. New sponsor this year. They're just, you can, as the crow flies, it's about 8-9 miles from Center High School. But folks from all over the state bring their kids to Camp Uwani. It's also the sponsor of our halftime analysis with the Colonel Matt Gregory. So when we analyze the game a little more closely like we did just then, that's brought to you by Camp Uwani. With sessions starting in June, going all the way through late July and into August, Camp Uwani, consider that this summer. Okay, our rider of the night, our Center Motor Company player of the game was Jason Villegas.
Yep.
But for obvious reasons, but that is not always the same person. We don't always choose the same one you do. Who was your rider of the night?
So I'm going to have to go with a guy. To me, and this is looking at, like you said, it's easy to pick the guy with the yards and the touchdowns and the guy everybody sees, but something that a lot of people don't see, and when you grade it on film, it's one of our big goals and one of the big things we look at is guys that are away from the play or maybe not getting the ball. Those guys are still showing max effort. And so to me, it's a senior, Bracaden Robinson. Plays outside receiver for us, also plays some corner. But he is consistently over the last, for the whole season. So and he's been consistent as a guy that when we run to that side, if you'll notice that big run that Jace has had, a guy downfield throwing a big block was Bracaden. Okay. And so he's always in the frame on offense, meaning he's always getting to the ball, always trying to make himself available to throw a block or, the big personal foul blindside block we got. That was on him, and it was just a situation where he was coming to the ball, trying to get in the mix and help block, and Bluford was actually able to cut off of his block, and the kid ran into him, but it was loud and violent, and so it got flagged. But it was, to me, that's a great block. I mean, that's football, but whatever. But he's consistently doing that. Even when he's not getting the ball, he's running great routes. He's running full speed, so to not give away, whatever. I mean, he's always going 100%. And so to me, and he did that all night the other night. Yeah,
and
very
let him
selfless.
know that I remember that the Villegas run, and Shires picked that up and called it. So he was mentioned on the live stream. Very, very good. Well, there you go, everybody. The Center Motor brings us our player segments all year, the ones that we announce during Friday night and the one he announces on Tuesday. They've been doing that for such a long time. And consequently, our sponsor of the night is just down the road, and it's all in the family. Ray Jones Chevrolet, who every time you get a first down, it's a Ray Jones first down.
There it is. I like it.
And all season long, before and during the game, we go over. In fact, Larry's probably going over them between sets, the Ray Jones Chevrolet keys to the game. So we appreciate the Jones family, and go look at what they have for you on Highway 96 North. The Chevrolets are new. A lot of pre-owned vehicles of all stripe. So thank you, Ray Jones. We'll hear from them and some of our other sponsors. We'll be back to the Nick Brown Show.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the Pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center.
Folks, this is Marlon Jones. We would like to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas from the Jones family. We appreciate everyone that helped make this a great year in Shelby County. We could not be here without your support. In the coming year, if you're in the market for a new Ford, Lincoln, Chevrolet, Polaris, or Kawasaki, Texas Bragg trailers, and Bobcat tractors, we would love a chance at your business. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. Happy holidays from the Jones family.
The Friday night lights are shining, and we are teaching driving. CDL Training Academy is your resource to a better career. Come and get trained and get tested right here in Henderson, Texas. CDL Training Academy. Visit our Henderson, Texas office or online at cdllearn.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We're now checking the score of the volleyball game. In the first set that we were talking about when we first came on, Center versus Timpson, Center was leading. They ended up losing that first set, what, 27?
29, 28, something like 29, 27, something like that, yeah.
It's now set number
two still,
and
yep.
Center was leading. Now Timpson's ahead 21-18, so that is a battle over there in Timpson. Those are the ladies who have already, at this point, won about as many matches as they did last year?
Yes. Yeah, they've been doing great. They have.
And Shires made the comment, he was excited from what he's heard. There's excitement in the program.
Yeah, absolutely. The girls are bought in. They're fired up. I mean, I think Sunday, Coach Hall had them over out to the high school for a team dinner on Sunday, and it was a fun time of bonding.
Really?
And kind of, they know each other. They've been together a long time already, but keeping that going, kind of like we do with football. We do the dessert Monday and have the boys over and feed them dessert. But she's doing an incredible job, and the girls are bought in. Our whole girls program, there's a lot of energy, and everyone's excited about all the sports, and the coaches that are in there have done a great job getting them ready. And this is just the first kind of glimpse into kind of that revamping of our girls program.
Very good.
Yeah.
And it needs to be done. It's so many girls that are playing sports, and in my lifetime I've seen that change. And it always bothered me because I had a lot of friends that were girls when I was in high school, and it always bothered me that they were.
No, we didn't. There's no way.
I did. Nick, I was so trapped in the friend zone. I mean, it was amazing.
Before it was a thing?
Yeah. Before we had that term, it was just Chris's life. But
I'm sorry, that's bad.
you stumbled on some truth right here at Pizzeria. But a lot of those friends were, when we were little, and they would play football with us before we knew the difference between girls and boys.
Right.
They could light it up, and then they would have been great softball players or volleyball players. We just didn't have that. And then in my teaching career, those things started happening, and I'm delighted about that.
Yep.
But it's something that takes full-time commitment.
Oh yeah, for sure. And our girls, we have girls that play volleyball, and they're varsity volleyball players, and they're varsity cheerleaders, and we've got girls that are athletic trainers, student trainers, and so our whole athletic program. We got kids that are in band that do that's one of the things I love about Center is that everybody does a little bit of everything. And I was always big on that coming in here was that's part of the kind of the nuance and kind of the fun part of going to a smaller high school is kids have the opportunity to do everything. We're not going to force them to specialize. We're going to share athletes. We're going to share programs, and it's been awesome.
And in a school center size, there are a lot of things that you can choose from to do. Really small schools, everybody does everything, but there's just not that many options.
Right.
If you get much bigger than center, though, you start to specializing. So we're right on that border, aren't we?
Yep. And too, if you're here, I've never seen so many tennis players in my life. But so that's another thing. Like we have like Emmy Wolf. She does varsity tennis. She's varsity cheer, and then she's on varsity volleyball.
And occasionally she goes to class.
Yeah, sometimes she's at school and does stuff. But yeah, that's just one example of our kids and how they're bought into all of our programs, and that's a testament to our program heads and program leaders and coaches and people that understand the importance of that as the high school experience here. This
is something that really, Nick, you wouldn't be able to comment on, but I do want to comment. We talk about other fall sports, and then there is that ginormous band. 220 something. How many do we have in our school? What was our official enrollment?
Well, we haven't done the official count yet this year, but we were right around like 650, 660, something like that.
We're not to 700?
No, I don't believe so.
So that's 1/3 of the students at Center is in the band. And so the one thing that amazed North Desoto, they have a competition cheer team that wins. So our cheerleaders didn't intimidate anybody. And then, they did fine, but North DeSoto's seen that. The dance line is award-winning. But when the band just keeps taking the field, and I'm up in the press box, I'm the voice of the band, they look at me and they think I'm the band director.
Yeah.
Mr. and Ms. Smith, they think I'm the band director. And they say, how many people are you having? How do you do that? And they just pepper you with questions, and I'm always so proud to take all the credit.
Sure.
So it's just an amazing thing that happens here in Center. Tennis, give us an update since last time we were together.
Well, tennis is playing right now, actually. I think they're finishing up with Jacksonville, came over, and they were playing as I was coming off the practice field and got a chance to walk over there and watch like 5 minutes of a set, and then had to get home and start dinner and then get up here. But tennis is going right now. I think they won their last match. I can't remember. They won because that's all they do. But I had the update. And I forgot who they won against. But yeah, they did. And then they're playing tonight as well.
And I think they'll play 2 more times before next time we're together.
Yeah. They'll play tonight. Then they play I think Thursday or Friday. It's hard to keep all the stuff going on straight.
Sure.
That's why we put out that week at a glance so everyone can have all the sports going on. It's crazy.
And a quick update on the cross country team.
They're still doing very phenomenal. They changed venues, but they're still going to run this weekend. And so they did very well at their last meet, and they're just kind of getting ready. They got 3 meets left, I think, until district. And so they're still kind of getting that prep ready and getting in shape, and then they're going to be ready to rock and roll.
It's not very long at all. For both of those, tennis and cross country, they'll be at their district meet, and tennis will finish their district schedule and start the playoffs just not that long after homecoming. It's pretty early October that we'll start.
Well, I think it's both of those sports have spring complements. So like most kids that play cross country, they're either basketball players or soccer players, or they run distance in track.
Right.
And then most of our team. Right now, team tennis players will become our doubles and singles players in the spring, and so they really have 2 seasons. And so I think that's probably why they keep it so short.
The first one's over a little bit earlier. Yeah, it makes sense.
They got to rest at some point.
Right. And there's that wonderful December.
Yeah.
I don't even think they have practice after school. I think for about a month they actually go home when the bell rings.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's our our look at what's going on in Rough Rider land. When we come back, do you have the update?
I've got
the update.
Okay. I do.
Well, the other Pineywoods broadcasts and schools in the county. Take it away, Charles.
Oh, so we know right now Larry Pierce is doing the center Timpson volleyball game, and Timpson's up two sets.
Yep.
2 sets to
both
0.
Very close.
Both were close. One with 29-27. Riders had a couple of set points, but was unable to put the Bears away. So we'll see if they can't crawl back into this one and make this thing go the distance. Now, last Tuesday, the Rough Riders defeated San Augustine 3-0 in volleyball. So they straight sets. They were able to get that. And then Thursday, Woking wins big over Tenaha. I understand they're still running the football.
Oh yeah, that's some good old-fashioned Smash Mouth football right there.
And then finally, in a couple of rain showers, but West Sabine captured the Golden Pine Cone with a victory over the Hemphill Hornets.
Yeah,
he was very excited about that Golden Pine Cone.
Yes, he was
Very fired up about that.
He was.
It's like he discovered the Golden Pine Cone.
Yeah.
He didn't know it was there.
The Larry Pierce Golden Pine Cone.
Right. There you go.
So that's our Pineywoods update for the week. Larry will be. He didn't say where he's going to be this Friday.
I'll have to look that up. In fact, I may do that in this next break so that you guys know. He's got lots of good sports to cover in East Texas while we anchor down the Rough Riders. When we come back, we'll look ahead at the Daingerfield game. That's the homecoming game on Friday, so stick around. We'll give you that preview next.
Part of Watson & Sons Funeral Home is Oak Lawn Memorial Park Perpetual Care Cemetery. A beautifully cared for facility, far enough away from town to feel private, but not too far away. Watson & Sons, their family taking care of yours.
Hey, if you're like me, lots of stuff is collected off up at your homestead. Call it down home clutter. Well, the good news is there's a place for it. You ain't got to have a garage sale or a bonfire. You can take your down home stuff to down home storage. That's what I did.
So what do you get with Sabine State Bank? Well, Steve Waters and his staff, they know you. They know you by name. And they celebrate the successes when they finance your dreams. But Sabine State Bank is also a fully modern bank with 24-hour online access to your accounts and services ranging from teller services to some of banking's more complicated things. Looking for a place to grow? It's Sabine State Bank.
You're watching the Coach Nick Brown Show, live from the pizzeria. The coach is in the house.
As always, we appreciate JBA Financial and JBI Insurance. That's Joe Bill Mattier. And the insurance that he provides for the folks of the area is hard to beat. And his commitment to the Rough Riders through his sponsorship, hard to beat as well. Mooney's Emporium on the square, where we've got shirts coming in and where she's got items for your recipes. Just be creative. It's best as you can do. They are there to
They still have that
supply you
that special stuff you can put on your.
That special stuff.
Yeah, that you can put on your meat and poultry.
Okay. Go get the special stuff. It's on the square, Mooney's Emporium. And just across from that, the Forge, the gym on the square where if you're from Center, you get stronger, just like the Rough Riders do. And then finally, Rough Rider Oil and Lube. Got to take care of your car. That's right there on Highway 59. And the score of the game, win or lose, is there. Thank you very much to Nathan Phelps for that service and the service to the car. That takes us to the Daingerfield game, Coach. Daingerfield is a storied program.
Yep.
You said something interesting that in your humble opinion, the 1983 Daingerfield team might have been pound for pound the best team in the history of Texas football.
Well, that's not just my opinion. I mean, you ask anybody that knows Texas high school football, I would put up the 83 Daingerfield Tigers against any recent or past state champion ever in any classification.
Really?
I'm telling you, the amount of dudes that came off of that team that went to the NFL or played big-time college football. I mean, they gave up 6 points all season. I think that was
And you said they were to Carthage.
Yeah, it was to Carthage. Yeah, well, Coach Ballinger's quick to make sure everyone knows that.
Oh, he was on that team.
Yeah, he was on that team, not the Dangerfield team. He was on the Carthage team. He wants to make sure everyone knows we scored the most points on Dangerfield that year, 6. Yeah. So I mean, it's just that's how dominant they were.
What's interesting because they had Coach Alexander that was there, and they were in '83. But they were good for 10 years, and then they kind of slightly disappeared, and then mysteriously, about 15 to 20 years later, I'm not sure exactly, coincidentally, about one generation later, our Coach Bowman was there, and they got a couple more championships.
So I remember when I was in high school in the early 2000s, you know, our big area in the Metroplex, it was always Salina. You know, Salina went undefeated from like 1998 to 2003, and they won 63 straight ball games. The team that ended that was Daingerfield. You know what I mean? And so that's how storied of a program Daingerfield is.
Yeah, it is. And then, of course, this is our 4th time to play them, and you know, and we've won all 3. And a couple of them decisively, but Daingerfield went on. They punch above their weight class in non-district, and then they do what they do every year. I mean, they're still. I think we called, it was either this year or last year or year before, we called 4 playoff rounds in. We called their game.
Right,
so,
2 years ago. Sure did.
Yeah, it was them and Newton, I think, which was like
a
clash of the Titans.
That was something.
So that, I mean, that is something that, you know, moving forward into realignment and when I'm looking at scheduling, I mean, that's how you build a strong program. You know, like I said, I think I told you this. It's nice to play those teams, and you can do it 2 ways. Like, hey, let's pad our wins and win as many as we can before district and get the confidence up that way. But to me, the real measure of how good you are is you play good teams, and that's something I learned from the AD I worked for at Aubrey, Coach Ivy. We played 5A teams. We played very good. We played state-ranked teams in our non-district, and we always made sure that everyone we had on the schedule was going to help us get better and get ready for district. And so I think that's kind of my philosophy there. And, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, Daingerfield does an incredible job with that, and they take their licks, and you can tell that it doesn't faze them. They learn from it. You know, like this week, we started watching film. We had their 2 previous games, and they were in one defense. They were in an even front, you know, 4-3, 4-2-5 look. And then when they played this past week against Pleasant Grove, they jumped into an on front and got better. And so that's just kind of what they do. They use those games and those tough games against tough opponents to make some adjustments and see who they are and see what would better suit them as a team going in and moving forward. And so we're having to prepare now for 2 defensive fronts instead of just. And so it's you know, they're still coaching them up out there, and those kids are responding well. You can tell on film they played, and the score of the Pleasant Grove doesn't really tell you just really how good Daingerfield is.
It can't. I mean, Pleasant Grove is 4A our size.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Is that 1 or 2 classifications above their weight?
Be 1. So they're 3A Division 1.
They're 3A Division 1. And the number 2 or 3 ranked team in the state above that level. So they are biting off a lot to chew in the pre-district.
Well, it seems to me in the last couple of years that they're really trying to figure out what they were going to do offensively because I mean, they obviously, I mean, I don't know, I haven't seen, you could tell us about, I mean, they're always going to have some athletes. They're always going to have some guys that are potentially Division I players and a lot of athleticism and generally some size. Are they going to, one year we thought they were going to kind of run more, but they came out and sprayed out and tried to throw it. Did not work for them very well against us, but I mean, what do we expect this?
I mean, to be honest, I told the kids, I said, you know, our big thing is we're expecting a team that's a storied program, got a lot of pride in their program. They're 0-3, so they're going to come out fighting. They're going to give us everything they have. They know their homecoming, and that was not. That was.
I bet you really loved that, didn't you?
So, it's the most awkward thing because you're basically telling the other team that we think we can beat you, which was not the case because I tried. If I had my way, homecoming would be the first home game and get it done. But I quickly got shot down by people that are higher up than me on the food chain, and again, because you know when you get this late in the year, and again playing a program like Daingerfield that has they have kids that can go to this, they have kids that can beat you, and so you always are kind of leery, like God help us if we lose our homecoming. You know, that's always that fear.
Yeah.
But you know that's so they're going to come out with it with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
And so we've been kind of preparing our guys for that. And we've had two very physical, up tempo, very intense days of practice to kind of prep for that.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good. So there you go. A really good team with a storied program that we scheduled for homecoming.
Yes.
Coming up Friday.
We did not.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody
did. Told me.
Well,
the problem is,
the powers that be.
The problem is we just when we go to district, we really don't have like a weak sister in the district that we get every other
that's
year.
kind of an unwritten rule. Like you don't schedule a district opponent for homecoming.
Now,
but
if you are.
Don't ask me who I would if we did.
But a lot of your problems as a coach and homecoming comes from what we talked about at the top of the show. This is an alumni homecoming. It isn't just so that you can dress up and have a party.
Right.
You can schedule that anytime. But alumni have a 4 o'clock parade. And the class of 85 in its 40th reunion is going to be on a medal in the middle of September heat. And so will the class of 75, and if possible, the class of 65.
There we go.
And if you do it that first game right there, it's 100 degrees, and because of that tradition, it messes up the ideal schedule for football. But that's what we got. So I hope you'll come to homecoming, and you know,
it's not supposed to be that hot.
No,
it should be all right.
If it were at Labor Day, though, then we're flirting with the heat, with the high.
I'm going to tell you something, though, Coach. Talking about hot, I don't know if your coaches told you about this, but that press box that we were in on Friday night was an oven.
Yeah.
And it was I was still sweating at 11 o'clock when we were packing up.
That whole area was. I felt like I was in a sauna. Like the whole time. The pregame, I was sweating.
Way hotter than it should have been.
I left my shorts and T-shirt on during pregame, which I never do because I was like, I'm not sweating through my khakis already. Like that'll happen. But I'd rather it not be before we even start the game.
Yeah, it was hot.
Because if we had an illustrator, we'd do the John Madden thing.
Yeah. Look at that. Yeah.
Look at his pants.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, but not only that was hot and muggy, but that way out that sun, it was just.
It beat you right in there.
It was hot in there. And
we were facing west.
And they had one little winky-dink hotel air conditioner
Yeah.
at the other end.
Yeah.
Everybody was like.
There was about 6 square feet that was cool.
Yeah, and the radio guys from other people were like, I can't believe they put us in there. Made us come over here. It was hot. But they did the trainers for them, again, great hosts. Every year, twice we've gone over there. Great, friendly people.
Oh yeah.
And they their training staff brought us Gatorade at halftime.
Awesome. That's
which is a good thing because I lost so much fluid I cramped up that lap. I was having performance cramps.
You need to stretch before you announce.
That's right.
That's right. I have to hydrate a little better next time. Well, all right, y'all. That does it for Nick Brown's part of the show. When we come back, we'll wrap up the broadcast schedule for you here at the Nick Brown Show. Coach, as always, thank you for coming. We appreciate having you. We'll be right back to wrap up.
Have you sustained a bone, joint, work, or sports injury? Problems with mobility or movement? Suffer with pain? Contact Azalea Orthopedics. Our specialists serve patients across East Texas for proven, trusted medical care. You have a choice. Demand Azalea.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center.
What's that old State Farm slogan, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there? Well, that could not be a better description than Chris Mayfield of Mayfield State Farm. Since he came to town close to 20 years ago now, he has been the quintessential good neighbor. It's the same thing true of his insurance agency, Chris Mayfield State Farm.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's the final segment here in our wrap-up. Thanks to Pizzeria.
And when we wrap up, go ahead and change your YouTube channel, your NETSN channel from what you're watching now. If you're watching us live, and go over to Larry's broadcast, it's the third set. The ladies from center are trailing in the third set, but it's awfully close. Coach Brown said center's already beaten the Lady Bears once, and they're getting their revenge, but it's not too late to come back. So we hope that you'll watch that. For Larry, he and Joe have games to choose from, because there are 3 games in the county.
It's Shelbyville homecoming.
Oh, okay.
That's where he's going to be.
But for homecoming, the team they're playing, it's 2-point. I mean, these are even teams. It could go either way. In fact, the team that they're playing is Mount Enterprise. It's the old Rough Rider coach. So it's going to be a good one. And then Joaquin is playing, I think they're picked by 2. Garrison is playing an opponent, and they're picked by 2.
Close.
And both Garrison and Joaquin are in the top 20. And so, I mean, wherever he goes, there's going to be good games from the Pineywoods side. Rough Rider game will start at 7, and we will bring as much as we can the homecoming court ceremony in its entirety. When we come on, if they're in the middle of it, we'll go straight to it. Then we'll hear from Coach Brown, and we'll bring you the game. At halftime, we will interview our winning brand new homecoming princess. In the post game, we'll talk to our homecoming queen. So we kind of step away a little bit from the football and our special interviews and talk to the ladies that are kind of the focus during the homecoming ceremony. That all starts at 7 o'clock on Friday. As always, I look forward to it, Podge.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
40th reunion, the class of 85. And you're 35th.
No,
you're 34th.
34, I think.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great game, because like Coach said, Daingerfield's 0-3. They're going to be, 0-3. They're going to be looking to get off the snide.
Yeah.
They're also going to be looking, because again, we've taken 3 from them. They're going to be extra special motivated to come down here and ruin homecoming.
Yeah. And although we are good and picked and certainly pose problems, they just played Pleasant Grove. So they're thinking, we're not going to have one of the 3 best teams in the state in 4A. So, I'm sure that in their mind they can justify, but it's possible. We can beat them. So have a big homecoming crowd and convince them otherwise.
That's right. Come early, stay late. And
so
you can bring your headphones, bring your earphones and your phone, and you can tune in and listen to us while you watch the game live.
And this show right now is on 96.1?
Yes.
Radio. And I think before the season's over, we're going to get these games on radio too, live. And so,
I thought they are.
Are they already?
I believe they are.
If they are, that's where you go to listen to it at the game. But this, if you take your phone and watch this game while it's happening, it serves as a great replay, because there's about a 4-second delay. So if someone makes a great run, you just put your phone up and get to see it again. It's a really good way to do things.
Sounds good, Mr. Washington.
That's my ad.
There we go.
Thank you to the pizzeria. Thank you to Sabine State Bank. And thank you to our sponsor tonight, Ray Jones Chevrolet. Hope to see you on Friday night. If not, tune in right here on YouTube at NETSN. That's the counselor. Over there having some pizza is Coach Nick Brown. I'm Chris Watlington. We'll see you on Friday.
So what do you get with Sabine State Bank? Steve Waters and his staff, they know you. They know you by name. And they celebrate the successes when they finance your dreams. But Sabine State Bank is also a fully modern bank with 24-hour online access to your accounts and services ranging from teller services to some of banking's more complicated things. Looking for a place to grow? It's Sabine State Bank.
The proceeding has been a presentation of the Pineywoods Sports Network, an affiliate of NETSN. God bless America, God bless our troops, and God bless each and every one of you.